Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So I'm going to be reacting again to a list online. I did this recently for someone's top 20 fantasy films on MovieWeb. And this time I'm going to Buzzfeed to react to someone's list of the James Wan films. So we're coming from a horror angle this time. And these are ranked apparently from the most chilling to the least thrilling. And actually I did look at the top choice on this, or number 32. It looks like the most chilling at number one. So we're actually starting with the least thrilling, I think, of the James Wan movies. And I believe these are films that he has both directed and been producer or part of, has had some sort of leading role in these movies. So it's going to be interesting because there are 32 films, I think, here that I'm dealing with. As I say, I've only seen one on the list. So it's going to be more of a natural reaction, I'd like to think, from me, instead of a predictable one, or one where I'm essentially just kind of everything's scripted. So a bit like the fantasy film list, where I didn't know what was going to come up on that. So just to sort of, I guess, add that unpredictability element a bit to things. So there's a few videos here I think we get to before we get to the film. So I think here we go. Number 32, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. This is the one that I mentioned. This is the one I've actually seen on the list already. So this means this is the least thrilling, I think, out of the list. And, this film, I think it's okay. I don't think it's that bad. So in a way, I may be surprised this is bottom. I thought this was actually quite a decent film. So he was actually producer and co-story writer for this rather than director. It was actually directed by Michael Chavez. And it says the film commits the cardinal sin of horror movies by wasting so much potential. With both Farmiga and Wilson practically sleepwalking through this sequel, it would take the devil itself to make me want to revisit this snooze-inducing stinker. I think that's unfair. I think the film actually has a great start and a good ending sequence, but the middle part is pretty, that's pretty bulky and not all necessary. I do see some of where this writer's coming from. I do appreciate that it is a bit hard to get through the middle kind of fat of this film, if I can call it that. I did think, though, the start and the end of the films are actually very strong of this movie. So that might be slightly unfair for me, though. I would probably have this one a little bit higher than bottom. Saw the Final Chapter, aka Saw 3D. Here we go. Now I know there's a bit of division with people on my channel, of those of you that like Saw and don't like it. It's kind of a bit of a division there. So I didn't like this one, this sequel. I thought this was just kind of, this wasn't a good movie. Is it the worst of the Saw sequels, though? I'm not sure about that. It is more of, if I remember rightly, this has just got loads and loads of traps. You've got the guy that's living a lie that he has survived a saw trap. I think it ends up going through that whole rigmarole. It's okay. Well, actually, it's not okay, but it's not very good. I can see why this one's rated pretty low anyway. But yeah, it does feature late front Manchester Bennington in this movie, actually, if you've not seen it before. The Curse of La Llorona, I didn't think this was very good. I actually ranked this one quite low down in my Conjuring Universe rankings not long ago. Stars Linda Cardellini, produced by James Wan. A lot of jump scares. I mean, I didn't think this was great. I didn't think it was terrible, actually. I didn't think it was terrible. So maybe, again, that's rated a little low. Jigsaw 2017, next at number 29. Didn't think much of this movie. Even felt just... The thing with me in the later Saw films, particularly Saw 7 onwards, particularly those films, they don't even feel much like Saw movies, in the sense they don't have as much of the creepy atmosphere. They're all overblown and, for me, overdone. And Saw movies should feel really creepy to me and super kind of intense. Didn't get that from the last, I guess, three movies. I didn't really get it much from a couple of the other sequels as well, to be honest. I think the first 3 films, for me, probably the strongest. So that gives away if I do ever do a ranking, but I'm not sure about if I'm going to do a ranking yet. So Annabelle 2014. I liked this movie. I liked this one. So that's a bit low down for me. I mean, Yeah, first spin-off from The Conjuring. I quite like that one though. Saw 5, 2008. Yeah, this isn't great. This was actually one of the other Saw sequels I'm not so keen on. It just got too convoluted in its plot as well for me by this point in the franchise. So yeah, that would be pretty low down. The Nun, yeah, that was my least rated film from the Conjuring universe is The Nun. The Nun 2 is coming up soon. I am very much looking forward to that though, because I mean that's actually a different director. I think it's Michael Chavez directing the second film, but I don't know why, but I just get a better feeling of The Nun 2 from the trailer alone. So I actually have quite high hopes for the sequel to The Nun. Actually, I think the sequel, my gut feeling is telling me it might be better than the original, but I can't tell until I've actually seen the film, of course. 25 Insidious, The Last Key, yeah, I might have this even lower down than 25. I didn't really like this film much at all. 24 Spiral, yeah, that was a sequel. As I say, I didn't, another Saw sequel I wasn't keen on. I mean, Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson actually thought were quite entertaining in this movie and stuff. But there's just no, I mean, it just did not feel much like a Saw film. The atmosphere just wasn't there. I mean, there were some traps in it, and a lot of traps which a lot of people like, I think. But yeah, it just wasn't for me, Saw Spiral so much. There's someone inside your house not seen that one, so can't comment. Saw 4, not too bad. It became more and more trap based by this point, so that in the Saw series, there was less of an investment, I think, in characters by this point. Demonic, haven't seen that one, so can't comment. Malignant is actually one of my favorite James Wan movies. I would have this a lot higher. I think I would have this in the top 15 of these, possibly higher. Big fan of Malignant. I actually really liked Annabelle Wallis in this film. I think, was it Annabelle Wallis? The lead character. Have I got that wrong? I've not seen it in a little while, so forgive me if I've got that wrong. I really liked Malignant though. I thought it was absolutely crazy and off the wall, but in a good way. I mean, the first actually 2/3 of the film are slightly different tone. They're a bit more serious, and then it just goes completely nuts. And I love that about Malignant. I love that it goes completely nuts. I think it's very entertaining. Insidious Chapter 3, too low down. This is too low down for me. This was a good movie, I thought. That is too low down. Good character explorations. The Red Door. Maybe this is about right, to be fair, about halfway in the list. Yeah, I thought this was solid. I thought it was a solid movie. But nothing particularly special. I did like the characterization of the older Dalton. I really liked that about Red Door. Mortal Kombat, not seen that, so can't comment. Lights Out. Have I seen this one? I think I would remember if I had, but it rings a bell. Creepy jump scares. I'm not sure if I've seen this or not. But that's probably a bad sign for the movie. Dead Silence, I've meant to see this film for a long time. I haven't watched it. Okay, Saw 6 at number 14. Yeah, this is actually one of the Saw sequels I quite enjoy. I like the concept of this guy that's an insurance. He makes decisions on people's health insurance, I think, and that gave it a really interesting angle, much more so than a lot of the other Saw sequels for me. So actually, Saw 6 is not a bad Saw film in my mind. Some people might disagree. I know a lot of you out there just dislike the whole franchise and the human torture elements of it, and that's fair enough. But I actually think Saw 6 is half decent in the franchise. Saw 3, number 13. Yeah, this one's actually, it's an interesting Saw movie. I think it's quite good. It's very brutal, but I think there's still story in this film as well, with the lead guy, Jeff, or whatever his name is, running around having to save people that are implicated in the death of his son or something, I think. Not too bad, that one. Pretty good. Annabelle Creation 12, that's low down for me. This would be higher up for me in the James Wan movies. Love Annabelle Creation. Love it. I thought it was great when I watched that one. Death Sentence, not seen, can't comment. Megan, up pretty high here. Yep, this is a really good one. Great. I think the child actor in this was really, really good. She was really good. And Megan stole the show. The doll was... I know this is derivative of films that have come before this one, but I'm still thoroughly entertained by Megan. I think it's good. Here's a classic, the original Saw film, which I think most people can agree on is the sort of one of the more iconic of the Saw franchise, the original film. It's pretty good. The acting's not terrific, as it isn't really in most of the Saw movies. Perhaps with the exception of Tobin Bell, who always puts in a good evil performance. But yeah, I mean, wasn't too good. Sorry, was a good one. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about there. Insidious Chapter 2. I didn't really like this one. This would be lower down on the list for me. I just found it kind of predictable. Yeah, the jump scares are okay, I guess. Some good suspense, but nothing special for me. Chapter 2. Saw 2. Now, you see, all of this doing this is probably a bad idea because it could give away. I'm not going to comment too much on Saw 2, but I think this is a good Saw movie. That's all I'll say. I don't want to completely give away a ranking, you see, if I do decide to do that later on. And you know what? Saw 2, the credit sequence, when you get Mudvayne in the credit sequence, it's just a great thing to have metal in the credits of the movie like that, I think. Just my opinion. Annabelle Comes Home is a good one. I think, or was this the really slow one that I said was very slow? I can't actually remember now. I think this was quite slow, this film, but still pretty good. Fair enough, if you think that's a good one. Conjuring 2 is a classic. This is a great one. Vera Farmiga, I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's really good in every single thing I think I've seen her in. Let me know in the comments if there's a bad Vera Farmiga film, because I haven't seen one yet. I have not seen one. Aquaman, I've not seen that at all. Apparently it's very good. Insidious, the original, good film. Yep. One of the James Wan's best. Don't deny that. Furious 7. I haven't actually seen this. I've heard a lot about it, though. Is this from the Fast and Furious series, I'm guessing? Not seen it. And the classic, The Conjuring. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised The Conjuring is number 1. That's a really great one as well from the Conjuring universe. Can't dispute that choice. Conjuring is a great movie. You know, let's just read this. The Conjuring has lasted as well as it has for a decade because it's simply utterly terrifying. Myriad heart-stop set pieces, including the classic, instantly iconic clap game scene, the astounding practical effects work. It's going to take some serious management to dethrone Conjuring as Swan's definitive masterpiece. Now, in my Conjuring ranking, I actually slightly preferred Conjuring 2 to this one for, I think, for the entertainment value. But to be honest, there's hardly anything in it. I could choose The Conjuring on another day as that, because the other thing about this film that I liked, I thought the performances from everybody in The Conjuring 1 were really, really strong too. You know, not just the cinematography, the suspense, sound effects, everything spot on in this first Conjuring movie. The acting was also fantastic. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think about this list. How do you rate the James Wan films? Do you agree with this list? I think actually broadly this is quite good. There are a few films I haven't seen. I'll admit to that. There are a few I would have had higher. I certainly might have had Saw higher. I would have had that Annabelle film. Annabelle Creation would have been higher for me. I would have also possibly had Insidious. Definitely had Chapter 3 Insidious. I think that's an underrated Insidious film. That should be higher. Malignant, I would have higher. Really enjoy that one. I like its wildness. I like its all over the placeness. I don't mind those kind of films that are totally chaotic. I enjoy things which, you know, you can't predict a lot, and that's just me in my taste, I think. But yeah, I think I agree with a lot of these low choices, actually, looking back at these, with the possible exception of The Devil Made Me Do It being bottom. I don't think that would be bottom for me. I did think it was a slow film in the middle, as I say, very fatty, but you make the middle of the film better and you actually have a decent film there. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks everybody for watching as always. This list, hope you didn't mind the natural reaction that I do rather than everything being kind of a bit more prepared. But this is what we do for the list videos, just to make them a bit more like as they happen, and you get my kind of instant reactions instead of ones that I've pre-prepared. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.